If there is one thing y'all love to do, is tell Black women what to do. If you're new here, my name is Zakiya Young, the suburban Black girl, and I have been finding it interesting that there's a parallel between the comments I get as well as what I'm seeing people asking of VP Kamala Harris. Some people have asked, why don't you have a lot of opposing viewpoints on your page in your comments? And that's because y'all don't know how to come with respect if you have an opposing point of view. I happily debate. If you talk to people who actually know me in real life and not just on YouTube, I love having debates. I love a debate because also, if you can prove me wrong, I will admit it because I don't know everything. I really don't. But you can't just come at me with opinions. You have to come with facts. You have to come with evidence or your actual lived experience. Because I can't speak against your lived experience. I can ask questions. So most of what I share is based on my lived experience and pattern recognition. So I think it's funny that the nation told Vice President Harris loudly that they did not want her to serve as President of the United States. So when our good sis, Big Sister General, decided to actually take care of herself and do things she enjoys doing because she is no longer vice president, y'all are losing your shit. And I don't understand why you think she should still be working for y'all the way you think she should be working. If you really wanted her to do what she can do, you would have voted for her, but you didn't. So it's the caucasity of assuming that she's still going to do this labor, which now she won't even be paid for in the way that you deem fit, even though she told y'all this was going to happen. She tried to warn y'all that this is exactly what was going to happen. And now y'all want to beg her or try to shame her into doing this work. Make it make sense. Make it make sense. If you wanted Vice President Kamala Harris to do the work, then you should have voted for her. Period, point blank. I mean, when else have you heard of anybody asking the person who didn't win the election to come and do work for the country? When have you heard of vice president being held accountable for the actions of the sitting president in office? Or is it just for women? Because when it comes to the comments that I read in my comment section that are disagreeing with me, what I am met with is disrespect, disdain, and demands, which you would never do if you saw me in person. Y'all keyboard warriors are crazy. Now, of course, I don't mean all, because I am loving this community that is being built here at Suburban Black Girl. We love to see it. More, please. But if you come in my comment section and you have disrespect, I'm going to take a screenshot and I'm going to troll you. I don't work for you. Again, if you come to me with respect, we can absolutely hash it out and we might decide to agree to disagree. I love intelligent discussion. I love respectful sharing of ideas. But y'all don't like to do that. And I'm going to need y'all to leave Vice President Harris alone. Because Black women do not owe you anything. And the other thing that I've noticed is that I think it must be some kind of generational trauma that has been passed down the Caucasian line, because I don't understand why y'all seem to think that you are the authority figure in every situation. It doesn't matter what age. You carry yourselves as if you're in charge of everything, as if you run everything, as if you know what's best. And you don't. You don't. I think you need to actually sit with that and ask yourselves why you walk into every situation thinking that your way is the right way. Why do you walk into every situation looking for the white person to be in charge? I had a situation when I was in college. We were on a European tour, And I was over 21 and we were in Europe. So I was out with the group of choir kids. And I remember the guy that was choir president, who's a friend of mine, I remember he was starting to round us up to go back to the hotel. And I was like, you're not in charge of us. You are not our choir director. Why are you coming in like you're everybody's dad? And we had a big fight, like a huge argument about it. And I still stand by what I said. He was not looking out for me as a friend. He was taking control of a situation because he deemed it was time for us to go home. And almost everybody else fell in line except for me, because I was like, we are the same age. You are not in charge of me. If I don't want to go home, I'm not going to go home. And whatever consequences I suffer, I will suffer. But why would you think that it is your role to tell everybody else what to do? It's baked into whiteness. It is. And we are seeing that now on a regular basis with the amount of Karens, who can be both male and female, I decided, with a bunch of Karens that are always trying to ask people of color what they're doing and why they're doing it and where they should be. Like, you literally think that you're in charge of everybody. And you don't want to officially give a marginalized person a position of power, because this whole thing we're experiencing is all because people got upset that President Barack Obama won. This is all blowback because we actually had a Black president who did a lot of good and who had a family that didn't embarrass him, and an unmistakably Black wife. This is all because y'all couldn't handle somebody who was literally the epitome of the American dream. Y'all couldn't handle having him in office. And all that we've seen since then, since his last term ended, was white backlash. And I think y'all need to sit with that. I think y'all need to ask yourselves why you feel like you have to be in control of everything. Why don't you feel safe or confident that Black people have earned the positions they're in? Why is it so easy for some of y'all to believe that we must have cheated to get to where we are? It's very similar to when women's qualifications are questioned, right? White women, you understand that, right? You get very frustrated when men doubt your capability for doing the job that you got hired for, right? So why is it that on a national level, so many of y'all said that VP Harris couldn't do the job that this felon is doing now? I need y'all to sit with the racism and the misogyny. And I need you to sit with why you think that you can demand Black women do any work for you. If we choose to do it, it will be for a price. Okay? Remember, these YouTube videos are me processing my thoughts, and maybe it resonates with some of y'all, which I love. Okay? But I have been incredibly troubled by the entitlement of people who could not match wits with me, even on their best day, demanding I prove anything to them. Are you kidding me? I just want y'all to think about that as we continue to move through these unprecedented times. And remember that Black women tried to tell you. We did. We told you many times. And instead of believing us, a lot of y'all just ignored us. And now you're calling on us to save you, when one of us actually was running and volunteering to save us. And y'all said no. So, as we sit here in our collective discomfort, I want you to remember who is still out there fighting the good fight. What I want you also to do is examine this notion of men being natural leaders. I'm seeing a bunch of women stepping up and doing the job. And I'm seeing a lot of men bowing and kissing the ring. I'm not seeing a lot of our elected officials that are men. I'm not seeing y'all fight. I'm not seeing a lot of Democrats fighting either. So it leads me to wonder, like, you're okay with all of this? See, the time to ask this question is not right before an election. Okay? The Democrats are going to need to show that they're different from the Republicans, because right now you look exactly the same, because your silence is complicity, and we didn't hire you to be silent. So, Democrats, if you want us to still think that you're different from the conservatives, you need to start doing some work. We need to hear you, because otherwise you're just like them. And if you thought voter turnout was low this last time, what do you think it's going to be next time? If there is a next time, because remember, he said that we wouldn't have to worry about voting again. So, men, it's time for you to step up, because a lot of you are cowering. A lot of you are cowering against the big bully. And that's not a good look. It's not. And for you keyboard warriors, I recommend you get a hobby. I recommend you read a book. Because if you come for me, I will make time to embarrass you. If you have a differing opinion, come to me with respect. Offer questions, ask questions, don't make assumptions. If there's something we disagree about with religion and you question whether or not I was really a Christian, I'm not engaging with you. And you're saying, no, you have to prove according to what I think a Christian is. And I will never do that. And I also never said I was still a Christian. And even if I was, I still would never defend myself against somebody who, I don't know from a can of paint, who is trying to put more limitations on people who can call themselves Christians. Are you serious? The audacity. Who do you think you are? Even if you're a pastor, I don't have to answer to you. This whole thing of like performative Christianity has got us to where we are now. You see, now the government is full of people who perform Christianity in the way that conservatives like to see, but it's got no depth. If it had the depth that it needed to have, we would not have the homeless problem. We would not have prescription drug prices soaring because of greedy pharma companies and billionaires. We would not have women making choices about their fertility based on how expensive healthcare is. Like, y'all want to say this is a Christian country. We have to remember that the people who founded this country owned humans. The people who founded this country owned humans. And I think we actually shouldn't be surprised by this whole conversation. The founding fathers didn't know how to take care of their homes. So instead of learning how to farm and take care of their homes and hire people and pay them, they decided to kidnap and traffic human beings and enslave them. And some of y'all have that blood running through your veins. Some of us do too, unfortunately. And we need to sit with that. We need to sit with that.